Hey everybody. So Scream 7 is coming out this month in like 10 days or so. Or no, the 26th. I'm so excited that it's coming out this month. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Of course I'm gonna see it, but I'm probably not gonna see it like when it comes to theaters. I'm probably just gonna wait till it hits streaming. But either way, I'm so excited to see it. In this stream, I'm going to be reacting to Scream 7's new TV spot. Like there's like extra footage to the trailer. I wonder if and when we're gonna get a second trailer. All right, let's look at this. Oh, I'm so excited.
Hello, Sydney. I'm gonna make
Wait a minute. Hold on.
love.
Hold on. What was that? Oh, that
Hello,
was a cool shot.
I'm gonna make everyone you love suffer. While you watch.
This killer has been planning his attack for years. Your daughter, Tatum, is the same age that you were when this whole thing started.
This isn't gonna stop unless I stop it.
Where is my daughter?
This is gonna be fun.
Scream, only in theaters. Tickets on sale February 9th.
Wait a minute. I know for sure that was Mark Joel McHale's character in that bag. Yeah, his character's a goner. Let's play back. Wonder if I can slow this down. I think I can. Let me slow this down. Mm, here. Um,
Hello, Sydney.
wait. I'm gonna hold on.
Hello, Sydney.
Yeah, that's definitely Mark. That is definitely Mark. I can see him. I can see him. Although I could be wrong, it could be someone else. You know.
I'm gonna make everyone you love suffer. While you watch.
This killer has been planning his attack for years. Your daughter, Tatum, is the same age that you were when this whole thing started.
This isn't gonna stop unless I stop it.
Where is my daughter?
This is gonna be fun.
Scream, only in theaters. Tickets on sale February 9th.
Mm, 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 mm. But yeah, I'm so excited. It's gonna be interesting to see the character Sydney as a mom, as a wife and a mom, because well, in previous films she wasn't a wife and a mother. Well, she was in Scream Five, and you know Nev wasn't in Scream Six because of things going on, because of like an alleged dispute. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited about this. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to see the character Sydney as a wife and a mother. And yes, clearly Sydney is the target, but like the main target, I believe, in my own opinion, is her daughter. And like the Ghostface killers are using, to me, in my own opinion, they're using their daughter as bait to lure Sydney out. Just in my own opinion. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I think this, honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Scream 5 and I like Scream 6, but I think Scream 7 out of all the films, I have a feeling like Scream 7 is gonna be my favorite film next to the first Scream and Scream 2. So I feel like with Scream 7, they're going back to basics with this one. Like, it's gonna be very, very violent and very, very gory, like the first one. You know, don't get me wrong, Scream 6 was very, very violent and very, very gory, but this, I have a feeling that Scream 7 is gonna be next level violent and gore.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. My day's going pretty good. Today's story time, man, it's one that I've been waiting to tell for a while now. It's one that's pretty crazy, pretty funny, pretty ridiculous, all around just a little bit of everything. I figured you guys would really enjoy it, so here I am telling it today. If you guys like the story time, please leave a like on the video, and let's jump into it. So today's story time all starts off as a regular day back in 9th grade, freshman year. Yeah, long time ago, very long time ago. Now, this was middle of freshman year. So, for the most part, I was used to high school at this point. I'd been in high school for quite a few months. I was definitely, used to it. And I had my friend group and the people at my school that I would always hang out with, my consistent friends, stuff like that, whatever, right? Everything was going good. Everything was going perfect, I would say. Everything was great. And as you all know, when things are going good in my life, I somehow just always find a way to fuck it up. So around this time, I would say I was like peak nerd. I love being a nerd. I love video games. I love nerdy stuff. I love, the internet, whatever, right? But I was definitely like really getting into it around this time, right? And that being said, I had some friends on the internet that were even worse than me. And I also had some friends on the internet that were definitely so like nerdy, I would say, that they were doing shit with their abilities that were not good. For example, hacking people's shit, stealing stuff, like hacking into people's stuff and like stealing their information, or like posting stuff on their social medias. And back then I knew it wasn't cool, but I was afraid if I stopped being friends with these people, they would do it to me. So I would like continue being friends with them out of like fear. So this all starts off as a regular day in ninth grade, right? I get up, go to school, you know, I could skip my whole morning. The whole morning was normal. When I get to school, I was in my third period class. It was my science class, and my teacher for science, she was pretty strict, but you know, for the most part, she didn't really bother me too much. She never really like, I don't know, she never dialed in on me and like yelled at me, so I didn't really care. But on this day, she had it out for me. As soon as I walked in the room, she yelled at me for being late. Keep in mind, the bell rang 2 seconds before I walked in. So I walked in 2 seconds after the bell. And she was like, "You're late." And I was like, "I understand. I'm sorry." And she's like, "No, you don't understand. Late is late. Don't do it again or I'm writing you up." And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." And she was like, "No, don't say you're sorry if you don't mean it." Now, I actually meant it. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I wasn't trying to be sarcastic. I meant it. I said I was sorry and I meant it. But she was clearly upset about something else because she was very mad at me about this 2 second lateness. And she's right. You know, I was still late. 2 seconds is still, you know, being late. But just the level of anger here, it was a lot. I don't know. It just seemed like something else was bothering her. Well, then after that, I sat down and I went to like write my name on my paper, and my pencil was broken. Like it broke the class before. I was like, oh shit. So I stood up and I walked over to the pencil sharpener and I started using it. And she was like, "Austin, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Sharpening my pencil." She's like, "Don't do that right now." I was like, "But I need to like write along on the paper with you guys and like do my work." She was like, "Yeah, well, don't you have a pen or like a spare?" I was like, "No." She was like, "You don't have a spare pencil or a pen." I was like, "I'm sorry, but I don't." And I really didn't. All of my spares were in my locker. And she was like, "That is just blatantly irresponsible." And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. Can I borrow one?" She goes, "No." I'm like, "Okay, then I'm going to sharpen it." She's like, "No, you can't do that either. Go back to your seat." I was like, "Okay, then I'm not going to do my work." She goes, "Then I'm writing you up." I was like, "Okay, so what do I do here, lady? What do I do?" I didn't say lady, but I said her name. And she was like, "Okay, you know what? Just go back to your seat. I'll be over there in a minute to talk to you." I was like, "Okay." So I go back to my seat. I sit down. And after she finishes like her whole intro to this lesson or whatever, she comes over to me and she like hands me a pen and she goes, "Don't let it happen again." And I was like, "Okay." I honestly forgot my pencil was broken from last period. If I would have known, I would have sharpened it beforehand. I just forgot. I'm sorry. And she was like, "Whatever." And she walks away. And then like 10 minutes later, dude, it's something else. I needed help on a question. I like raised my hand and she like walked over and I was like, "Hey, like, what does this mean?" She was like, "Were you not listening at all to what I just said?" And I was like, "I was, but I didn't catch that part, I guess. I'm not sure." And she goes, "Why don't you recite what I said from start to finish?" And I was like, "I don't think anyone in this entire classroom could recite what you said from start to finish, word for word, and get it completely right. I just don't think that's possible." And she's like, "Okay, well then try." And I recited it pretty damn good. And she was like, "You missed a lot, clearly." I was like, "Okay, I guess I did. Can you help me on this question?" She goes, "No, you didn't listen. Now you have to face the consequences of getting that question wrong." And I was like, "What? Now I have to face the consequences of getting that question wrong? Like, what are you talking about?" Guys, this wasn't even like a quiz or a test or like something that, you know, was something she couldn't help us on. You know what I mean? She was allowed to help us. She just wanted me to fail. I'm telling you, like, she just wanted me to fail. And this was the part of the lesson where we were supposed to ask for help. This was the beginning where we were learning it, you know, like she was supposed to help us. And then a week or two from then, the quiz would happen, the test, whatever you want to call it, and she couldn't help us. So I was very upset that she wouldn't help me. And I told her that. I was like, "So you're just refusing to do your job right now?" She's like, "Refusing to do my job?" I'm like, "Yeah, like this is the part, the intro, the first day, whatever you want to call it, of this lesson. I'm asking for help on this. You're not helping me. So you're not doing your job." And then she goes, "Well, you're not doing your job of a student. You're not listening." And I was like, "I listened. I must have missed something. I'm sorry. Maybe it was the fact that I couldn't write when you were talking to take notes. So that might be it. I don't know. Maybe I would have remembered if I could take notes, but I didn't have a pencil that worked, and you yelled at me for trying to sharpen mine. So couldn't do that." And she's like, "Oh, so that's 2 jobs of a student you failed. You didn't come with a writing utensil and you didn't listen." And guys, at the end of the day, she was right. You know, I didn't bring my pencil sharpened. I didn't catch something she said. That's on me. But kids aren't always 100% when it comes to things. Humans aren't always 100% when it comes to things. I'm an adult. I'm in my mid fucking 20s now, bro. I'm unk. And I don't always catch what people say. Okay. It's not because I'm not listening to them. It's just like sometimes my brain doesn't compute. I don't know how to explain it. Like sometimes I just don't process every piece of information given to me at once, and I need it repeated. So I was pretty frustrated at how like mean she was being about it, because I felt like I was being pretty respectful to her and she wasn't. And that kind of upset me. Well, after me and her go back and forth for about, I don't know, 30 seconds, she ends up saying, you know what? I'll help you on this question after school today in detention. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you heard me. And I was like, no, like that's not necessary. I just need help on this one thing, like right here, just this one part. The rest of the sheet, I have it. I know everything else you said. It's just this one part, just this one little part. She goes, no, we're going to run through the whole thing again. And I was like, did you just hear me? I don't need the whole thing. I have everything else. All these other problems, like all these other questions, I can fill in. It's just this one. She goes, no, you didn't catch one part. We're going through the whole thing again. I was like, that just sounds really counterproductive. And she goes, well, guess we're being counterproductive after school today. I was like, you know what? Nah. She goes, what? I was like, nah, I'm not coming to detention after school. She goes, okay, then make it 3. I was like, 3 what? She's like, 3 detentions. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to those either. She goes, okay, then I'm going to get you suspended. And I was like, so be it. And I walked out of her room. I just quit class that day. I just walked out and I knew that she's going to call the main office and call security on me. So I just went to the main office and I walked up there and I walked in and like the little like secretary or whatever you want to call her, like the lady at the front desk, she's like right there. I walked in. She's like, Austin, what are you doing up here? I was like, well, I just walked out of class. I have a feeling you'll be receiving a call any second that I walked out and, come get me. So here I am. Just make it easy for you. And then right after I said that, the phone started ringing. And I was like, there it is. And she answers it. She's like, yep, he's here. Don't worry. She hangs up. And she's like, okay, Austin, go sit over there. The principal will be with you shortly. I was like, all right, sounds good. So I sit down. Like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, principal calls me in and I sit down. And my actual principal wasn't there that day, which was interesting. So it was the vice principal. And I like sat down with her and she's like, hey, Austin, what's up? And I was like, hey. She's like, I don't really know you that well. I was like, yeah, I haven't really met you before. She goes, well, my name is, and she says her name. We'll just call her Mrs. Vice Principal. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm Austin. Nice to meet you. She goes, yeah, I know. And she's like, so what happened? I was like, well, my teacher, she's a little bit strict, my science teacher. But for some reason today, she just seemed extra strict and like it was only me that was the problem. Like no one else, just me. And she's like, all right, well, what happened? And I told her from start to finish, everything. I told her the whole thing. And she was like, look, I understand that sounds very frustrating, but you can't just walk out of class or refuse, to do something. And I was like, do you really think 3 detentions is worth not knowing one question on a paper? And she was like, no, but that's not why she gave it to you. It's because you were refusing to go to the first detention. I was like, do you even think 1 detention is worth that? I was like, she wanted to run through an entire lesson again because I didn't know one single problem. I was like, the rest of it, I knew. It's just one single thing. And she wanted to hold me after school and run through an entire lesson again just to prove a point. Like that seems really, really counterproductive. This is all for one question. There was multiple other questions I knew. It was just one. Doesn't it seem counterproductive to you, like as a teacher and a student, for me to go after school for over an hour, stay after, then take the after school bus, which is 45 minutes, so an hour and 45 minutes of my day, and the teachers, for me to run through an entire lesson again for one problem? I know every other problem, so I knew 99% of the lesson. It's just one. And even my vice principal knew that the teacher was on bullshit. She was like, that does sound very counterproductive. You're not wrong. Like if you knew everything else and you just didn't know one question, I'd be pretty upset too. If I was in your shoes, I would also be frustrated. I completely understand your frustration, Austin, but she's the teacher. If that's how she wants to discipline you for not knowing it, I can't question it. I was like, you can't question it? You're the vice principal. Like literally you're above her in the staff. She goes, no, I'm not above anybody. We're all the same. I'm like, I'm not saying you're better than her. I'm just saying she sends me to you for discipline. You know what I mean? Like she can give a detention, but when it comes to the suspensions, the in-school suspensions, the expulsions, it's you or the other principal, I guess. But for now, it's you. And maybe she just forgot that or something. But right after I said that, you could kind of see it on her face. She had like a realization that, yeah, she does have some power at the school now. And she was like, yeah, I mean, good point. But I don't know. I feel like, it's not that bad of a punishment. It's just a couple of days of detention. I was like, no, it's 3. And I don't want to do 3 for one problem that I missed. And she's like, okay, what would you rather do then? I was like, honestly, nothing. I don't think anything I did was worthy of a punishment. She goes, well, that's not true, Austin. You walked out. And I was like, okay, that's actually fair. She was right. I kind of forgot about that. I did walk out of the room after like arguing with my teacher. So that part was worthy of a punishment. And she goes, for that, we have to give you something. And I was like, honestly, you're right. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. She goes, how about this? How about today for lunch? You have lunch with me. lunch detention. And I was like, you know what? Sounds good. She seemed cool. You know what? At this point, I'd rather have lunch with her than see my teacher after school. It felt like a much better trade. So I said, sure. And she goes, okay, well, I'll let your teacher know, and that'll be it. I was like, thank you. She goes, yep, sounds good. See you at 11. Because my lunch that day was at 11. Now, after this, she has me sit back down in the main office, just in a chair for the rest of the period. I think there was like, I don't know, probably 20 minutes left or something. So I just sat in the chair in the main office in the waiting room and just like chilled there for the rest of class because she didn't want to send me back to class because I think she knew that if I just went back, it would just be more of an issue that day. So she just let me stay the rest of class in the main office and just sit down and chill. And she let me use my phone, which was honestly a surprise. And I went on my phone and I had this group chat with some of my like online homies. And a couple people in that group chat were the people I was talking about earlier on in this video that like knew how to hack people and shit. And I went to the group chat and I was just so pissed. I was just venting. I was like, dude, my teacher, she's being so fucking annoying today. And I just put the whole situation in this group chat, right? Like, I put a whole paragraph in there. And everyone's replying like, damn, man, sorry to hear that. Like, you know, we'll play games when you get home. Like, take your mind off it. And then my one friend, we'll call him, I don't know, Xavier. He was like my nerdiest friend I had. And when I say that, he was like the dude that was always hacking people's shit and tweeting stuff on their accounts. He definitely had a bit of a power trip. He used to love like trying to get into people's accounts and posting on their stuff and being like hacked by, you know, blank, you know, his little hacker name, whatever you want to call it. And he was definitely one of those people I was talking about earlier that was, you know, not the coolest. He would hack people's stuff and be a dickhead. And I was afraid to kind of like cut him off and stop being friends with him because I didn't want to piss him off and get my shit hacked, especially with the YouTube stuff going on. So he ends up coming in the chat, right? He comes in the chat and he's like, yo, fuck that, teacher. You want me to do something about it? He obviously meant like hacker social medias. And I was like, no, do not do that. And he goes, come on, man, just give me a name. And I was like, no, do not do that. He goes, come on. And I was like, no. He goes, do you want to at least like have me teach you so you can do it? I bet it'll feel better if you do it. And I can't lie, man. There was a devil on my shoulder that was like, do it. Do it. And I don't know what got into me, man. I said yes. I was like, yeah, when I get home. He goes, bet. I was so mad at this teacher still that I was willing to stoop so low on Xavier's level of like nerdy hacker dickhead and hack my teacher to prove a point that she was a jerk. And obviously that's not proving a point. That just makes me the jerk, but whatever. So yeah, I said sure. And when I went home that day after school, I jumped on Skype with Xavier and he shared screens and shows me how he like gets into people's accounts. Now I'm not going to run through it step by step because a lot of it is still relevant today. I'm not trying to teach people how to steal people's information and hack their shit. That's just not okay. That's very fucked up. And I don't care how mad you are at someone. It's not the way. But yeah, Xavier taught me everything he knew. Well, not everything he knew, but everything that he needed to give me to steal my teacher's social medias. And it wasn't like a foolproof method. You know, there was still a very high chance it wouldn't work. But he's like, you know, try it out, see if it works. So I did. Later that night when I was just all alone in my room and nobody was on Skype, no one was on Xbox, I was just chilling there in my room. I went online and I tried to hack her. And I'm not proud to announce it worked. It worked very easily. It took me no less than 5 minutes and I was on her Facebook and her Twitter. Now, she didn't really use Twitter, so that was kind of irrelevant, but the Facebook she used every day and had a bunch of like the coworkers added, you know, a bunch of teachers, bunch of staff from my school, bunch of people, bunch of parents, you know, a lot of people from the school had her added. And I was like, jackpot. I'm about to embarrass the shit out of this teacher. I'm going to post something really stupid and then I'm going to post something else. And like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to get back at her. So firstly, I posted this video and it's so fucking dumb. It was a video of a cat dancing and it said, gotcha. And obviously no one that has her added is going to think anything of that, you know, like if I saw my friend post that, I would just think like, whatever, it's a cat dancing, you know, like my friend likes that video. So don't know why I posted that. But then the second post, I took a piece of paper from my kitchen and I wrote with Sharpie on it, hacked by, and then I put my school's name and then hacker afterwards. So cringe. But I took a photo of it and then I posted it on her wall. And it was just this sign that said hacked by, you know, whatever. And it started getting like traction immediately. Like people from the school were replying to it, being like, give her account back. You know, screw you, hacker. And it's funny. This one teacher who I actually knew, he was like my study hall teacher sometimes. He replied to it. He's like, wow, you must have no life at all. I mean, honestly, at the time, he was right. And then there was other people replying, being like, report the account, it's hacked, it's compromised. People were really freaking out. And it caused much more of a fuss than I thought it would. You know, I was like, oh shit, this is actually like getting some traction. And before I knew it, like an hour or two later, there was like a bunch of replies, like at least like 25 replies, just being like, give her account back, you're a jerk, like calling me all sorts of mean names that weren't cuss words because they're all teachers and they can't cuss on their social medias without looking unprofessional. Just a whole bunch of stuff like that, you know? And at the time, I can't lie, I was loving it. I was really, really loving it because, you know, it felt like revenge. I was like, oh, like this is what she gets for being mean to me. She was being a dick to me. Now look who's got the last laugh. I hacked her Facebook. You know, I thought I was so clever and like I like won the war, right? I thought I was so clever. Well, after that, I logged off. This whole time, by the way, I didn't change her password. I didn't lock her out of her stuff because I'm not evil, okay? I made a couple stupid posts, then I just logged off. And she logged back in probably a few hours later and deleted everything. She must have not seen it right away. I don't know, because it was up for a few hours before she deleted it. So yeah, she got her accounts back because I never really changed anything. And she probably changed her password or whatever and, you know, locked it down. I didn't try getting back on it after that because I had my fun, you know? And I thought that was the end of it. I thought, you know what? I had the last laugh. I got my revenge. She'll never know it was me. That was fucking hilarious, right? So I thought I had the last laugh. Little did I know, my teacher was about to be having a lot of fucking laughs. So fast forward to the next day, right?
You get caught.
I go into school and I had her class like first period because my schedule would switch every day. So I had her class first period, walked into class, and she like didn't seem, you know, bothered by it or anything. Didn't really expect her to be. And the whole day was completely normal. And after school that day, I was on my way home, chilling, and my mom starts calling me. So I answer it, and I was like, hello. And she was like, hey, when you get home, we need to have a talk. And I was like, okay, about what? She goes, you'll see. And she hangs up on me. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was kind of creepy. I don't like that at all. Like, what the hell's going on? And I get home, and I walk in, and my mom wasn't there. I was like, what the heck? So I call her back and she answers. And I was like, Mom, where are you? You said, you know, we had to have a talk and you're not even home. She's like, yeah, I thought I would be, but I had to step out. So give me a minute. Well, about 20, 30 minutes goes by, right? She's still not home. So I jumped on my Xbox and I'm just hanging out, playing some games. And about an hour later, I hear the front door and I hear two voices. I hear my mom's and I hear some other woman's. And I was like, what? Who is that? Like, does she have a friend over? And then I opened my door to like hear it better. And I hear it and I'm like, wait a minute. That voice sounds familiar, like really familiar. What? And then I realized it's my fucking science teacher, dude. My science teacher is in my house. She is in my damn house talking to my mom. And I was like, oh no. So I like sneak out of my bedroom. I like tiptoe down the hallway to get like a better listen. And I hear my mom say, like, once again, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going to call him out here now. We can talk to him. And in my head, I'm like, oh no, she knows. She knows it was me. And I hear my mom go, Austin, come out here. And I walk out into the kitchen and like pretend that I'm surprised to see my teacher. I was like, oh, like, what are you doing here? And she's like, hey, Austin. And my mom's like, have a seat. And I sit down. I was like, what's going on? And my mom goes, so I get a call after your school day's done, right? From your teacher here, asking to talk to me about a hack that happened on her Facebook last night. Now she thinks it's you. And I was like, a hack? What kind of hack? Just playing stupid like an idiot. She's like, yeah, my Facebook got hacked yesterday. I have a feeling it's you. And I was like, why would you think that? She goes, I have a really good reason to believe it. And I was like, why is that? And she goes, I'll get to that. But in the meantime, I just want to give you a chance to be honest and forthcoming. That's why I called your mom here. I talked to her about what happened. I told her, you know, why I think it's you. I showed her. And, you know, I'm giving you the chance to be honest here. We're both giving you the chance to be honest here, me and your mom. And I was like, wasn't me. Fucking terrible liar. And she goes, okay, so it wasn't you that hacked my Facebook yesterday. I was like, no, I'm sorry that happened. She goes, really? Once again, one more chance, Austin. Was it you? I was like, no. She goes, one more time. Was it you? And she turns her phone around. She pulls her phone out, turns it around, and shows me her screen. And it's the photo of like the paper, like the sign I made and the photo I took that says hacked by, you know, the school name and then hacker. And she's like, this wasn't you. And I was like, nah, not me. Is this the photo they posted? And she goes, really, Austin? I was like, what? She goes, these aren't your shoes. And she points to the bottom left of the photo. And one of my fucking shoes that I took off earlier in the day was in the picture, and I didn't see it. Now, it wasn't the whole shoe, it was just like the tip. I was wearing Vans that day. So, like the Vans, you can kind of see like the tip of the shoe in the photo. And at first, I tried to be like, no, those are just Vans. Like, you know, a lot of people have those, not me. But mine were so specifically ripped. I had this little rip at the toe from skateboarding, and mine had the exact same shape, like rip. So they completely matched. And she's like, those are literally the same shoes you're wearing right now. And I looked down and I see them, and I was like, oh no. And she was like, just admit it, Austin. I was like, fine, you caught me. And she goes, wow, shocker. I know. I was like, I'm sorry. And she goes, obviously you're in a lot of trouble. And this sucked because now I was in trouble not only here at my house, but at school too. Because it's like, you know, she could make my life a living hell at school. She was my teacher. So I was pretty worried. You know, I knew I was getting grounded. That was an obvious, you know, thing that was happening. I knew that. And that did happen. I got grounded for a month. But I knew at school it was going to suck too because I hacked my teacher's Facebook, and now she was really going to have it out for me. And boy, was I right. The entire rest of freshman year, every time I had science, my teacher would make it her mission to fucking orbit around me and make sure I was getting everything correct and listening. And if I wasn't, I'd end up in lunch detention or after school detention. And the rest of my life in that class that year sucked. It was so ass. It sucked so bad. And I definitely did not have the last laugh like I said I did. She did. I should have just took my dub. I went to the vice principal. She gave me a way less punishment. You know, I had to just go to lunch detention for one day. It was so easy. But I had to get greedy and be like, no, that's not enough. I need to get revenge. And I fucking tried to hack her, and it fucking backfired because my dumbass left a photo of a shoe in the photo. Only my dumbass. That's what I get. Anyway, yeah, I got grounded for a month. The rest of that year, class sucked pretty hard, can't lie. Oh, and the cherry on top, she made a Facebook post about it. She was like, oh, just to let you guys know, I found the hacker. It was one of my students. He's since said sorry, and he's very, very much, you know, learning from his mistakes. And she made a whole post, and everyone was laughing at me in the comments or the replies or whatever. It was great. It was all just a great, you know, cherry on top. But that leads me to the final part of this video / story. Don't do what I did. All right. Just don't. All right. It wasn't worth it. I took the loss at the end of the day. Okay. I took a big L. Moral of the story is do not try and hack people. But yeah, looking back, it was definitely an interesting time. Okay. Definitely wish I didn't do that, but whatever. I still think, you know, that first day when she was like being rude to me and like refusing to help me and all that stuff, I still think that was very much, you know, not it. I don't think she should have did that, but I took it 10 steps too far. So at the end of the day, this shit's on me. But yeah, guys, that's the story. In the end, I lost. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all later. Peace. 'Cause you won't let me be. Maybe outside, let me die in the backseat. Let me bleed out, are you not entertained? Going outside like somebody asked me. Everybody thinking I got trouble for this.
Hello, Sister Pam. I can't wait to see who I've been talking to.
Who took this image? And who is the mental patient at the hospital with this photo in their room?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Certain rules push the laws and you end up dead. This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's gonna go something like this.
I'm Pamela. Welcome back to the channel. In case you're new here, please subscribe to the channel because we cover all things